Edge of Eternity is a brand new open world RPG that started as a really successful Kickstarter with almost 4 times the set goal reached. Midgar Studio then started development in 2016 with a small team of 4 people and then later released an early access version in January 2019. Now 2 years later, the game is finally out after really improving it during the early access period, gathering a ton of feedback. The team also grew to 15 or so developers, and it's now available on Steam, Epic Games Store and GOG, with a console release planned for later this year, and it will also be coming to Xbox Game Pass. It currently has a really positive rating on Steam after more than 2,000 reviews, and they're also still improving the game a lot, by the way. I will have some examples in this video, but first things first. What is Edge of Eternity? I will tell you everything you need to know in this video, thanks to Midgar Studio for sponsoring the video. Totally check the game out via the special link in the video description. And you can then also get a 25% discount till July 8th. A like on the video would really help me out. And let's go. An advanced alien force attacks a medieval fantasy planet. That is one sentence you could use to describe the setting of Edge of Eternity. The people of Harian, the planet that the game takes place on, do everything to fight back though, but this alien race also unleashes a deadly disease onto the planet, which causes the environment to alter, and it affects the mother of our main character Darian as well. So next to this end of the planet story, saving the world, you also have this way more personal journey about Darian and his sister Celine trying to find a cure for their sick mother. Throughout the game you will meet new party members. You can have up to 6 characters joining your team and also explore a lot of diverse and interesting looking areas. Expect floating rock formations, forests, deserts with giant mushrooms and some more sci-fi looking areas. There are really a ton of regions and landmarks to discover, but there will also be more linear dungeons for main missions. You're mostly in the outside world though, and if you explore a lot, you will be rewarded with chests which can contain brand new weapons, gems and crafting recipes. I will touch more on that a little later because the customization in this game is pretty deep. You also find a lot of crafting materials, and really cool is that when you are on your Nekaru mount, which you can already get relatively early on by the way, you can find even more loot as this creature will sniff out and dig up hidden treasures, or sometimes get you into a fight with special enemies as well. Also really enjoyed the race that you had to do to get the mount. And there's way more side content, like there are special bird view puzzles, which has you move your character between pressure plates. If you are successful, you are also rewarded with a ton of loot. Also expect side quests where you meet different NPCs and have to help them out, and you will also come across a lot of message boards with requests to kill a number of a specific enemy. So totally smart to pick them up when exploring and fighting anyways to get some extra rewards. Enemies will be walking around in the open world and follow you when you get too close. Interacting with these creatures will get you into combat, and yes, just like in similar JRPGs, you can also get a head start when attacking an enemy before the battle begins. And the turn-based combat in Edge of Eternity totally gets more interesting over time as your party grows, and you will then also get more weapons and abilities to choose from. For one, the position of your team is really important. Moving a low health ally away from the enemy is really smart, as these characters can likely use ranged attacks to still hit the target. Melee attacks can only reach hexes adjacent to the user, so these party members have to be close. And if you play it smart, you can also get behind the enemy for a backstab, which deals some nice extra damage. Also cool is that there can be a magical ballista in one of the tiles, which you can then fire by walking up to it. Or there can be a special crystal, which then buffs anyone who stands next to it. So it's only worth it to spend some turns on securing these objects. Each character has a bar that fills over time, and when it's full, you can choose an action. Good to know is that not every action costs a full bar, like movement, which means that you can then act sooner for an attack that does cost a full bar afterwards. There are also spells which require you to cast them, so then your bar turns red and has to be filled again, so you basically have to wait another turn, but this will result in some very powerful attacks. The downside is though that if you get hit too often while casting, the spell will be lost. On the flip side, the same is the case for the enemies, so when you see them cast a powerful ability, make sure that you hit them as many times as you can to stop that attack. But not all the spells can be interrupted though. Sometimes the tiles will be highlighted, which means that the AoE attack will hit there, so then you have to move out of the way in time in order to dodge it. Unlocking abilities is a bit different in Edge of Eternity compared to other JRPGs. You namely unlock them through weapons and crystals that again you can for example find by exploring the world. By using weapons you level them up at the end of an encounter, which then unlocks new crystal slots to improve your character. Some weapons already come with their own unique ability which unlocks after equipping that weapon, like a shield which protects you from a strong incoming attack, after which it has to recharge, so then Darien will be more of a tank. While with another sword I found, you build up stacks to in the end deal more damage, so then you're more a DPS focused character. And this is just how it starts, because slotting in new gems with new abilities immediately unlocks those abilities too. Not all the gems have special abilities, but even the stat increases you get from equipping them and when slotting in new items period already adds a lot of depth. And you sometimes also have to choose different paths because you cannot unlock all the nodes. So in short, there are really a ton of ways to customize the different characters the way you want. Combine that with a crafting system, which has you create items from crafting recipes, including brand new weapons or upgrades for existing ones. And you can really spend a ton of time in these menus to get the perfect loadout if you want. And at the time of this recording, they just dropped a mega patch, like there have been 4 in June so far, so they're really on top of things, and the most recent one brought a ton of quality of life improvements, including the fact that sprinting does not cost any stamina anymore. First you would see the circle go down, but now you can sprint endlessly. You also have team energy, which you can refill by resting and could be used to sprint as well, but now not anymore. And also first attacks you would do to, for example, strike an enemy before the battle would cost the team energy, but now you can just spam it freely. So next to the balancing changes, based on feedback, they will also keep adding a ton of free content to the game. It already has 50 hours of content right now, but in Q4 2021 we will also see an additional party member, new monsters and quests, new NPC models, improvements and bug fixes, and some other special content too. And I would not be surprised if this content will be included when the game releases on consoles later this year. And it doesn't stop there. 2022 will include a Nekaru farm and breeding, endgame content, new gear and weapons, more dungeons and quests, the New Game Plus, a new version of the mod kit, free character skins, a summoning system, and even more. So if you jump into the game right now, again, it's 25% off till July 8th. Check the special link in the video description. That's $22. And then you will enjoy a ton of free content for a really long time as well. So again, check the game out via the special link in the video description. And thanks to Midgar Studio and their villagers for sponsoring the video. A like on this video would also really help me out. And for now, I will speak to you next time. Goodbye!